Hello guys, my name is Pedro and welcome to another episode of Layer Explorer, where I get to unpeel the Photoshop files of all of my favorite artists. Today with us we have Perry. She was a student of mine a while ago, and right after that she started the challenge of Plein Air April. I think she did it the year before as well, where she drew one quite rendered painting every single day of the month of April. That caught my attention while she was posting it every single day, and I invited her to join me for this conversation. I think in this session we will look at this very fast-paced, budgety way of approaching paintings, where you have to, she was finishing it after work, so she wouldn't spend more than 2 hours around these paintings. And yeah, I think I learned a lot about simplification of shapes and how to render something in a way that is very clever, that it looks a lot more rendered than it actually is, where to focus detail, where not to focus detail. But yeah, you guys will see everything in the conversation. So yeah, enjoy. So welcome to Layer Explorer, where I get to invite my favorite artists and unpeel their Photoshop files and look inside of their processes. In this new episode, we have Perry. We met through, I think Perry reached out with a couple of friends of hers to my mentorship, and then we kind of followed each other, and then I saw that Perry did this incredible, what was the name of the challenge again?
Plein April.
Plein April.
But it's hard to pronounce. So yeah I said Plein April.
Yeah. Plein Air April. And it was quite incredible. And it was one of those things that, like, every day I would randomly go into Instagram and I would see like a new painting. And I knew the paintings are coming out daily. So I was like, how is that possible that like this level of rendering is coming out like almost every day? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to Perry and invite you to this so we can kind of dig through the layers a little bit. And yeah, do you want to present yourself?
Sure, of course. Hi, I'm Perry. I'm a visual development and background artist working in animation and games. My most experience lies in working as a background artist for animation and TV series. The work I'm about to talk about today is my Plein April number 12, I think. Yeah. One thing that I wanted to do with this Plein April is to actually force myself to work every day to actually see how I improve by the end of the month. The most thing that I needed to do is that keep it like really simple and really fast, because I was working from 9 to 5. I only had like 2 or 3 more hours to do painting for that day. Yeah, so I had to do it like super fast and keep it simple. So I created this workflow for myself, which allowed me to work really fast. And I'm gonna actually talk about it today and show it to you guys.
Wow, number 12. What's the total amount? Is it like
30?
30? Yeah, okay. So you finished all the days. Okay, cool. Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm excited to see the layers.
And it was my second year. I did it firstly last year, and this was my second year.
And did you, because I remember when I did like Huevember, I prepared like 5 to have it like 5 before I started the month. Just so I was like, hey, if I mess up one day, at least I have this backup of like, I still post it, and it gives me a little bit of time for like to build the next one. Did you have like a kind of a rooster of like paintings? You literally was like, finish it, post it.
Go into that. Yeah.
Incredible. And I love that you're like, okay, I kept it simple, but for me this is so rendered. Like, it's such a nice like render. But yeah, okay. Let's get into this. Let's get into the layers in here. Okay, super. So what do we have here?
Okay, so the main way I actually work is to create different thumbnails for myself to pick from and go within the actual painting. But for these, I didn't have much time. I only did have like 2 or 3 hours to finish a painting. So I created this really gross, ugly looking thumbnail to figure out the composition and think what I'm gonna do with my characters and storytelling.
Wow.
After the thumbnail, I jumped into the more clean sketch, and I also put in my characters. So after this part is done and the sketch part is done, I will grab my select tool, select each object, and create a base with like a flat color. So it would be something like.
So for the thumbnails, do you, because I'm seeing a brightness here
Mhm,
that I don't think I saw in the thumbnails. How long does a
mhm.
thumbnail usually take you like that? Because you took that thumbnail quite far, I think. Maybe when it's so much small, it's a little bit more forgiving. But how long would you say that it took you to do that thumbnail, and how much of the lighting do you decide at that stage?
Actually, not much. I maybe take like 5 or 10 minutes to do my thumbnail, especially with these because I had to finish super fast.
I see.
But if
Okay.
I'm working, yeah, I'm a more detailed and personal project, I maybe take even 1 hour to do different thumbnails.
Okay. 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 And did you already know you wanted to have characters? Is that like a common thread with your characters in all of the paintings? Are the paintings kind of with a narrative? Because I remember seeing characters in almost all of them or in a few of them.
Yeah, for this challenge, I wanted to even challenge myself even further. So I wanted to actually incorporate a little bit more storytelling into my painting. So I created these two characters and put them in all my paintings during this challenge.
I see. Okay. 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 So
Um,
this is like the
yeah,
base layer.
yeah, this is the baseline. This is maybe like the first 30 minutes of my painting. Yeah,
Wow.
usually, yeah, this is like every object in a different layer. So I can go back and edit the colors if I don't like them
Okay.
in
Okay. Okay.
saturation like this. Yeah. After this part is done, I go back into my painting and add a little bit more details. And I keep details in separate layers because it's more easy to edit them this way. And I try to work mainly on my focal point and avoid putting too much work in other areas. If you just zoom in, these are just a big blob of color. But this
Right.
would be, yeah, my main staging. So that's where all the characters and storytelling go. So this part is more clearer and more clean than the other part.
So that highlight that you have there
Mm-hmm.
on the fries
Mm-hmm.
packet, that was
Mm-hmm.
done in like you were flashing out the colors and you're like, okay, it's gonna be a highlight there, and you just drew it like that. Is not something like you added after.
Yeah, yeah. At first, this was just a big blob of red color. I actually made a mistake and put all the lighting in the same layer. So at
I
first,
see. Okay.
there wasn't any highlight. Yeah, I added this later.
Okay, 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 okay. And the way you are turning on the layers right now, does that reflect
Mm-hmm.
like a chronological order on of how you approach the painting? Or
Mm-hmm.
let's say I can see like there's like some little bits on the lower left side of the painting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you draw those before you drew layers that are like below? Do you see what I mean? Because like you already have some shadows there. Did you draw these bits before you drew the shadows?
No, no, I added these shadows later on the next level. At first, it was just a big square of like beige color.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So for the main staging and the focal point, I try to keep everything in separate layer, so it would be easier to iterate and edit in later on. But for something that is in the background or it doesn't matter, doesn't play any important role in my storytelling, I try to keep it really simple and even put all the lighting and shadow in the same layer of the base
Right.
color.
Okay. Do you mind zooming in a little bit? Because
Yeah, of course.
those just okay. Because those fries, it just looks like so much detail.
Actually, there aren't much details, so if you zoom in, it's just a big blob of color. But what I did is I tried to keep all the fries that are close to my main staging more detailed. So when you look at it, it looks actually really detailed, but it isn't detailed in real life.
Right. I see. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which stage are we? So as we look at the painting now, right now, how much time would you say you put into the painting at this point?
Maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. This is just the first 50% of my work, I would say. Just
Wow.
blocking the base colors and maybe a little bit of hint of light and shadows.
Okay. 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 Wow.
So after all my blocking part is done, I jump into lighting phase. So for the lighting phase, I wanted to mostly concentrate on my main staging and focal point. If you look at the shadows, I mostly use warmer color for the shadows. So I can use cool fluorescent, like bluish light. So that light and color would be opposite to each other. So we have a cooler light and warmer shadows. So for the lighting part, I also did it in separate layers and I use the layer mode. So if I
Wow.
grab my colors, and my color picker, you can see that this part is really like bluish color, and I put it in and I put it on a screen layer mode, and I use a really dark blue color, so I can maintain the the cooler light and the warmer shadows.
I see. Okay.
So after this part, I wanted to add more texture and liveliness into my lighting. So I grabbed a texture brush and actually did this lighting again with more texture brush. So it can add it to the more sketchiness and liveliness of the rendering part. Yeah. And for the chips, I wanted to be more freely and add a little bit more texture and life to it. So I didn't put it on separate layer and I didn't use layer modes. I just grab a normal layer and I grab a texture brush and try to paint it just like normally, like a cave person on top of everything. I didn't actually use any of the layer modes or anything else or anything technical.
Okay.
Paint it on
And
top.
is this something that like, because for me, blending modes are like the thing that runs through my veins, you know, like I cannot paint. I guess I can, but like I really struggle to light without blending modes, especially because it adds a certain boldness and confidence to the tones that I don't think I have. But is like the confidence to just block out color, is that something that you feel that you've gotten by doing this like big exercises where you literally are painting every day? Do you feel like before you did exercises like this, you weren't as bold with just painting with normal mode on your layers?
Yeah, definitely. That played an important role. And the other reason is that you have to remember that I did this after I did my 9 to 5 job,
Oh
and
my
this
god,
was
yeah.
like 7 p.m. in the 7 p.m. in the evening,
Yeah.
and I was super tired and super lazy, so I just put everything on the same layer.
Fair. I was looking into
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, fair. That's yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
imagine what it must have
I
been.
try to use all my energy in the staging and my focal point, and every other part is just at the same layer. I'm going with
Fair.
it.
Fair. Is there like a reason? I see that like you've added that white rectangle on the box, on the burger box. Was that
Mhm.
a later part where you're like, okay, I think it's gonna be better for staging if I put my characters against this kind of whiter frame, they're gonna stand out more?
Yeah, definitely. That was one reason, and the other reason was that when I was doing my research and my thumbnails, if I can find yeah, you can see that I had a hint of white on top of this burger.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we've come a long way from the thumbnail at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, we have all the base locked in, so we can jump into the characters.
Nice.
Yeah. for characters, I try to do actually the same process. So I went to my sketch, select the characters, and put a base color for the characters. And that's actually when I do all the layering modes, because that's the important phase of my painting, the characters.
Right.
So that's the part you were talking about. Yeah, I do this for only just the focal point.
I see. Okay. Can I see the sketch for the character? I'm curious to see how much
Yeah.
decision you've made in the sketch and how much decision. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, my decisions are mainly done in the sketch phase, because I don't want to go back and just draw everything again, especially for these where I have to finish super fast.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got the rough, like, bigger main shapes, and then you figure out how the shadow is gonna wrap around them, like on the rendering stage. Cool.
Yeah. And for the light and shadow and layering modes, I didn't actually grab just a simple layer and put it on top with multiply. I do it in layer mask because I don't want to delete my brush stroke. And in this way, you can actually edit it really easy. Even now, if I just grab my hue saturation, I can now even change the color even at
Nice.
at this stage. Yeah.
So it really makes the character kind of belong to the color of the light in there, because you're going for more cooler lights, as you said, like for the lit part of your painting. Okay.
Yeah. For the chips, I was lazy and I didn't want to spend as much time, so I just put just one layer, everything on one layer. But for characters, I use layering modes.
Okay.
Yeah,
like the chips are like, they look very detailed. It looks like a lot of chips, but then I see that how just, I don't know if like economic is like the right way of like how simple you were with like the shapes. Okay, this is a darker shape here, this is a brighter shape here, and in the end it's like, it looks super complex, super like detailed, but you were so practical with like the way you place the colors in the chips. It's like, I thought it was super detailed, but then after you said that, I looked closer into the chips and I'm like, okay, wow, no, it's just a lot of really smart decisions that you made in the blocking there.
Yeah. It's just blocking and adding a lot of texture to maintain that liveliness.
Yeah.
Same goes for my other characters. So it's just the flat color and then shadows and light. Oh,
Very nice.
and yeah, we shouldn't forget contact shadows. We actually make the character belong to that environment.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Yeah, and I use multiply layer mode for the contact shadows.
Okay, and do you do contact shadows after you've rendered totally the characters, or you're like, okay, you're halfway that rendering the characters and then you do contact shadows then?
It's actually more or less going forward and back. So I'm doing both at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but after that, I grab my contact shadow layer and put it behind everything at the end.
I see. Okay. So would you say the way we are unraveling the layers now is roughly the way you have approached it, in a sense of like, okay, you render the whole background and then you do the sketch for the characters and then you added the characters, or you're like, you blocked out the background and you sketch the characters so you already know they're going to be there, and then you lit the, like, how chronologically accurate are we being with the way we are unraveling the layers? Because just to give an example, I have other artists that we start from the layer below and then it's just the sky, it's just one color, and then there's a gradient, and then there is like a clouds, and obviously like they didn't start the painting in like the sky and then they added 2 clouds and then they added a little gradient, so it doesn't reflect chronologically how it goes. But how would you say that it reflects on yours?
I try to do maybe like, because I'm so used to doing backgrounds, but I always try to do the background first and then add the characters. That's
I see. Okay.
The way I work.
Yeah, I'm similar to that. I think I work very close, very similar to that.
So at this stage, most of my decisions about light and color have been made, and I can say maybe I'm 70% done with the painting.
Nice.
I then add all the paint overs and the adjustment layers on top. So if you can see, I feel that this bottom corner feels a little bit empty. So I decided to add a little bit more storytelling to this part. So I added a lot of curved chips to create this invisible line that actually guide the eye to the staging and to the focal point.
Nice.
And I added a little bit of crumbs to add to the storytelling and liveliness of the piece. And at this phase, when I created the chiefs, I then went back to my background layer and add these shadows.
Okay, I see.
Then another paint over for the character to fix the lighting and the shadow. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, during all my process, I have a habit of just pressing Control Y and always checking my values constantly.
Wait, Control Y makes it black and white.
Yeah, you should probably do a setting first. I forgot what the setting was, but once you set it, yeah, with pressing Control Y, it jump into the value. And the one thing I do is I maybe stay in the black and white.
Yeah.
And put my eyedropper in the current layer. This way, when I pick a color, it actually picks color. Oops.
I did not know that black and white was. Oh my god! I've been living a lie. I have like a layer on top of all layers called saturation. That is just a one full black layer with the saturation blending mode that I keep turning on and off. But I could have just done that. Oh my god! Why?
Yeah, that's
how did I not think about that?
That's the way I work when I'm working with Procreate, because Procreate doesn't have all the shortcuts. But yeah, in Photoshop, you can just press Control Y. So I'm just gonna say this part again. So sometimes I stay in black and white phase, in the value phase, and then grab my eyedropper and just pick colors, because this way you can actually pick the color underneath. You just see it black and white, but it's actually color, and you can paint the color. But you can at the same time check the values. That's really handy. I use that a lot.
I'm gonna write that down. I want to start using that shortcut.
Yeah, I will send you the settings. Yeah, I forgot where it was, but yeah, I'll send it to you.
Amazing. Okay. That's so simple, so good. Amazing.
Okay. Yeah, and then another paint over layers. I really like this paint over phase, because it actually makes my work just to pop up, and you can see the final product. And another layer to add a little bit of bounce light.
Nice.
And we are at the adjustment layer phase. That's the cherry on top, where you make everything pretty. I really like this phase. So for this piece, I felt that this part at the top is really dark, and actually takes a lot of attention from this staging. So I wanted to push it back. So I added the atmospheric layer just to push back all the darkness on the top. And in the bottom, I wasn't really happy with this really saturated red, and I wanted to push it a little bit darker. So I created a multiple, no, it's not a multiple layer, it's a normal layer with just a big round brush and maybe a little bit of blue color to mute it down.
Nice.
Yeah, and at the end, I
Cool that
like
you
the
did like
contrast.
a lit vignette. You did kind of like a vignette that is light on top and a
Yeah,
vignette that is dark at the bottom to like, okay, look up. Like this is where the focal point is. Like look to the top.
yeah. That's the part when you can make your work looks pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end, I'm taking just a contrast layer to emphasize all the contrast and all the light and shadows, and then a little bit of filter on top to make everything warmer because I like warm colors.
Nice.
And sometimes I add a little bit of grain and texture on top because it makes it look super rendered. Sometimes it works, yeah, and yeah,
And how do you do that?
for
How
this
do you
piece,
add the grain?
I just got a grain texture from internet and put it on top of everything and put it on overlay and drop down the opacity.
Ah. Can you
Yeah.
zoom in just so we can see the grain like applied?
So if you see
Because I
this
usually
part,
just add the noise when I finish the painting. I add
yeah,
filter noise, but this is kind of
that's the
easier.
same approach actually. It's just easier. So this part where it wasn't my main staging is just a big blob of color.
Yeah.
But if I put a grain and noise on top of everything, it looks super rendered.
Yeah. It adds just overall texture to everything. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
so nice. Very nice.
and then I'm done.
And that's it. And this was all
Yeah,
within like 2 hours.
I think maybe
Wow.
2 3 hours.
I can't imagine like an entire month. Wow. I remember doing a
Yeah,
challenge where I did like a 20
it's
minute painting every
not
morning.
easy. It's not easy, especially when you're working 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
you have to commit to do every 30 days. Yeah, it wasn't easy.
My God. But how do you feel? So what kind of conclusions did you take from like this second 30 days that you've done?
Yeah, I can say for sure that my work process is really faster. I learned to maybe allocate more energy just to the focal point and don't worry about other parts. At the end of the month, I have 30 new works, which is nice.
Yeah.
Finished
Super
pieces.
nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably one of those things that you've improved in ways that you can see, but you've also
Mm,
improved in ways that are just like not they are kind of hard to measure, but like painting quicker, making decisions like bolder decisions, and like that
mm,
okay, I've done one of these a day, I surely can do like two,
mm.
like in like a week. Um, super
Yeah,
super
yeah,
nice.
the most important lesson I learned is just to trust myself and trust the process and be less of a perfectionist. Just post it, just go jump into the next thing. It doesn't matter. As long as you keep trying, it doesn't matter. If if you create like a beautiful piece every day, if it's not good, you can try again tomorrow.
I see. Okay. Do you have like your what's your favorite and least favorite of all 30 of this plein air? Do you have like a clear one there, like, okay, this was my worst day, and this one was like, okay, I don't know how I did this in like 2 hours?
Yeah, I think it was number 10, which I really liked. And some of them I actually really hate and just waiting for the months to end so I can hide it in my Instagram grid.
Okay, okay, fair, fair. Yeah. Okay, wow. So okay. So there okay, so did you have some strong feelings about a few of them? Okay.
Yeah.
That's jokes. That's jokes. But yeah, okay. That's amazing. I hope whoever is watching this took some value from this like really incredible and super like practical process of approaching like these paintings. I think like I haven't done the plein air April, but I've done Hugh Vember maybe in 2020, I think. And it really there's a very clear difference in character design, like confidence between one in another. So like, it's just such an incredible. I've also done Inktober as well, I guess, but yeah. So I really see a lot of value in this like 30 days challenge because yeah, probably people tend to be very perfectionist in the first couple, the first three, and then they're like, okay, this is not sustainable. I just gotta finish it every single day. But yeah, this is it. Is there any more? Tell us what's going on in your life. Tell us what's next. How can people find you? What are you up to right now? What are you looking to do in the near future? Tell us.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to update my portfolio and printing some stickers to go to NSC this year for the first time. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh my god!
And
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, I'm really excited about going to the NSC for the first time. And yeah, just normal work, 9 to 5, nothing special. You can find me on my Instagram and my website and LinkedIn.
Nice. I'll put all of the links like somewhere like in the screen there as you mentioned them. But yeah, Perry, thank you so much for being so available to do this in such a short notice. We had a couple of technical problems right at the beginning, and you had a lot of patience, and it was incredible to see your process. And I guess I'll see you in Annecy.
Yeah, it was really nice talking to you, and I'm looking forward to see you. Yeah, thank
Nice.
you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.